this section we're going to talk about our all-in-one props. You may have purchased this with the door, but if you did not, you can purchase this at any time. Due to that, these receivers that accept the props are permanently welded to the hinge side of the prop. What they do is each prop can come at any height. So this is our hinge prop that I'm putting in place here. That's our hinge prop. All these can be mounted in different heights. There are 3 receivers on the door, high, middle, and low. You get with the setup. If you don't have it yet, you've got 2 hinges props, 1 lock prop. And on the floor here, we do have a rebar cutting and padlock cutting prop. We'll go through each one of those individually. First, we're going to cover the hinge prop. The hinge prop, as you see it, comes with a hinge, a T-handle, and the prop itself. What we use to get the real world resistance on this is basic deck screws, sheetrock screws that go on here. Do not use nails. Nails will not work. So basically the resistance can be varied based upon how many screws you put in. This is teaching you the Plan B method. Big thing when you do the receivers and you do set your prop into place, that you want to make sure every time there's a prop in place that these 4 screws on each receiver are tightened. Use an Allen key or a wrench. They're tightened. Once they're tightened, you can operate the prop. Like I said here, you see the 4 screws. They slide through the holes. They line up through our hinge. The hinge prop, one thing important here on this hinge prop is that the way they set into place. Just take these screws out real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. As you can see on the front of the prop, this configuration with it open on the bottom and closed on the top, this should be set in your high position of your hinge puller, hence pulling your hinge up. As you see down in here in the bottom one, or even in the middle position, it should be the closed section of the prop should be the bottom. You would just set your hinge in place, set your T-handle for your holes line up, and set the varied number of screws you want in place to set your resistance. That's your hinge prop. The next prop we're going to go into that's with the all-in-one prop setup is the through the lock prop. Through the lock prop, what it simulates is commercial settings of a mortise lock. This prop allows you to pull the lock cylinder, and one great thing about when it was designed is the lock cylinder is reusable. You could buy regular lock cylinders at $10, $12 a piece, but a high consumable cost. This simulates a mortise lock. It goes into place, and it has 2 set screws on the side. The key is provided in the top of the prop. Big thing here that you want to know is that this is a prop. It's a teaching tool, so you want to set the resistance hand tighten. There is no need to crank on this or put a socket in there and really crank on it. It's more about teaching the technique. You're going to hand tighten it. There's one on this side, and there is another one on this side. Hand tighten both. Your lock prop is set. Using a Rex tool or a K tool, you can set the prop on here. The prop sets on, you're going to go through your through the lock technique. Again, not a whole lot of forces needed here. You set the tool, pull the lock. Once the lock is pulled, and we'll pull it out, we'll get an axe over here and we'll pull this set up. I'll set the tool. Rick here will hit it. Hit. 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 Pull up on it. Set my tool again. I want to call for another hit. 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 And your lock is pulled. Again, once you reset your lock and you get your lock cylinder out, you may need to loosen the set screws here on the side to get your lock back into place. Again, that resistance is like real world. You don't really need to tighten that hard when you get your lock pulled. Once your lock is pulled, what you need to look at here is the Adams right. Most people think you just pull a lock and you're ready to go, but what we're looking here is like an Adams right setup. Use the tool provided. Use the bent side of the tool for a mortise lock. You're going to push it in at the 5 o'clock setting with the pointed end of the tool. Push down. There's a little cam in there. You release the cam to unlock the lock. Great thing about this, you teach your students this. They can do this in the middle of the night, cause limited damage, and for the owner of the building, they can reset the lock or through the lock prop. The fourth component of our all-in-one props is the rebar cutting, padlock cutting prop, which I'll put into place now. We like this in the high setting or the low setting. What this takes is 1/2-inch rebar in up to 6 configurations. As you see here, the rebar can be configured where they've been manufactured, where one can sit on top of the other behind it. So you can cut up to 6 pieces of rebar in different configurations. As Rick talked about before, we talked about the cutting padlock prop. We'll be cutting this prop here. It's open at the bottom, so you can use a pair of vice grips to hold that in place while the operator cuts the rebar. And we've already talked about that. Once it's cut, you loosen it, take it out, and like Rick showed, we put a new piece in. So this prop allows you to do well over 7 functions of forcible entry, all on one prop. This prop, if you would like, we'd also sell as a standalone prop, as a whole separate unit with all these props on it, which also includes our padlock breaking prop. If you have any questions, contact us. Contact me directly or visit us on our website. Thank you.